Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carter, the model investor. Today I want to talk about out-of-state investing. For those of you who live in a really expensive market, or you may even be overseas and you want to get started in real estate investing, out-of-state investing is a way to do that, and my entire portfolio actually consists of properties out of state. So it doesn't need to stop you from getting started. I hear a lot of wannabe, like beginner investors who live in expensive markets and they can't find deals, but they want to get started in real estate investing. And that's how out-of-state investing can help you get started. And it's not stressful and you don't have to worry about it. It's easy enough to do. It's probably not ideal for a lot of people. It's nice to be able to drive and check in on your properties on a daily basis, but sometimes it's not possible. But like I said, it shouldn't stop you from getting started. One of the key factors, one of the key points that I want to mention is when you first start looking for properties out of state, just from experience, the best thing to do is find a broker or real estate agent that specializes in investment properties, and even better, if they invest themselves, their knowledge and expertise will save you a lot of money and a lot of time. When I first started looking for my first property, I actually invested in Texas, and I was relying on Zillow and the MLS. And properties can look quite different, and neighborhoods can be different. I mean, I'd never, I hadn't been to Texas, so I was just going off the research that I'd done in certain areas. But things can be very different when you actually know the neighborhoods. And my broker, Frank, who I work with in New York, has saved me a lot of money and some big headaches. Just through his knowledge of the area. He's a local. I've sent him numerous properties that I thought looked good and they made sense and the numbers worked, but he said, no, this block isn't good, this block is fine, this end of the block is fine, this is a bad area. So without that local knowledge, you can get quite stuck, and that's a really important key to investing out of state. Once you do find a property, and, I advise people not to rush and just take your time. I rushed into my first one and I paid too much for it, and I was just kind of excited and I jumped into it. But just take your time to, do the research and find the right property. There will always be more properties and there will always be deals. There are plenty of houses to go around. Anyway, so moving along to, you found a property, great. So now you're going to have someone to manage it, because you can't do that from a distance. And a property manager is a big asset. It takes time to find the right property manager. I advise people to build a relationship with them. I see my property manager as kind of like my business partner, because they, once I close on a property, it's kind of handed over to them and they have to deal with everything. And it's a lot of work. They're dealing with the tenants, they're chasing late payments, they're collecting the rents, they're dealing with repairs, scheduling maintenance. And I mean, now, I have 9 properties now, and there's no way that I could manage all that myself. So they are a vital asset to an out-of-state investor's success. People ask me, how much does a property manager cost? And from what I've seen, it varies wildly between states, but I've seen it as low as 5% and as high as 12%. I've read that there's been it's 12%, that's of the monthly rents. But I've had as low as 5%, and my Texas property was 10% of the monthly rents, which was on the higher end. But still, I think for the amount that that you pay, that there's like I said, a massive amount of work, and it's worth every cent. And it allows me to work and be in New York and have these investments. I invest in Syracuse, and that's a 5-hour drive away, so I couldn't do this on my own. So they are a big part of being able to invest in part of my team. The third key point is, investing out of state, you're going to have to build a team of, every investor has a team. You have an attorney. You'll want a local attorney that knows the local laws and the state laws, county laws. It's very different from state to state. Contractors, if you're doing a BRRRR or rehab, you want local contractors. Insurance brokers and banks. I like to use local banks and lenders, although I know a lot of lenders do lend everywhere across the states. I have 2 different teams that I work with, one in Texas and one in New York. And I asked my lawyer in New York, do you mind, when I sold a house in Texas, I asked him if he would represent me because we've built such a good relationship. And he said, no, actually, I think it'll be in your best interest to use a local attorney in Texas. So you have to build those teams, and those teams are really the glue that hold everything together. And you can't do it alone. You need a team of people to help you with out-of-state investing. It's a lot to take on. So when you're first starting, you move into a new market, it's good to go off referrals from other investors. Take your time to find these people and, really build that relationship, because as you grow, they can be a big asset in the success or the opposite of success if things don't go too well. And what do I have here? Take your time, plenty of houses to go around. There'll always be another deal. Someone told me that because I used to get stressed out, but I really need to do this deal right now, and what if the winter comes and there aren't properties? There are always more properties, and in fact, I've noticed when I've closed on a property, then another one comes up that would have been a good deal for me. So there's always more. Don't rush, especially with out-of-state investing. Take the time to do your research and feel comfortable, but don't let it hold you back either. Take that step. Just do it. You can overthink the whole process as well. The only pitfalls I would have to say of investing out of state is not being as hands-on as I would like, especially in the beginning. I was really eager to learn everything and micromanage every process, whether it was placing a tenant or making repairs or collecting the rents or, I see this one's late, why haven't we, But I really learned to just trust my property manager. They do their job, and just to kind of let go of the reins a little bit. And, I know, I still, I have daily contact with my broker and property manager, and he's going to see this and be like, yeah, too many emails. Once a week's probably be good. But, we've built that relationship, and I'm buying properties at the moment, so we have a lot going on, and I trust him with the management of a lot of things, and advice too. I can ask him questions about certain areas that I'm still learning about. So that team, it's a really important part of investing out of state. And yeah, what was I going to say? Key points. Yeah, the key points again, just so I go over them. 1, buyer's agent to help you purchase the properties, better if they're an investor. 2, must have a property manager. Take your time. There's plenty of property managers out there. Find the good fit. Open communication, and make sure you're on the same page with how you're going to deal with certain problems that will inevitably come up. And number 3, take the time to build your team. They're going to be your support crew, and you can't do it without them. But that's about it. I kind of hope that just by speaking a little bit about my experience. And it's been great, and I continue to buy out of state. I'm not worried about not being able to check up on my properties on a daily basis. Yes, it would be nice if I could now walk my dog and walk down my block and, go and see my tenants and check in on how the place is looking and check on if the lawns are mowed. But that's not a reality, and that's why I pay my property managers, and they do a great job. But do not let being in an expensive market deter you from getting started, because it's, there's an investor in Japan actually that I talk with often, and he invests in Syracuse, and he's in Japan with a massive time difference, and he's doing great. So you can literally invest from anywhere. Just build that team. That's the takeaway from this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope I could inspire someone who lives in a really expensive market to go and take that step and invest out of state, because it's not so scary. And I keep learning as well on a daily basis. It's always something to learn. So one day maybe I will be able to, like I said, invest in my own backyard, but certainly not yet. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will post again soon.